Maybe the second person copies onto it game 2, maybe lovely things happen, but this is not as cut and dry as something like a Big Six mirror last year. This is
This is
a mirror
much
with many different moving parts to it, so it's a very, I think it should be an interesting match actually.
yeah, a long one at that, but yes, it'll be a very interesting one. Uh, Here we see. I think the sets are different though, because I think James said his Gastron is different from Grant's, but we're going to see Tapu Koko. I think both are result best if this is going to be Marcus's team, and Garchomp's. I think we saw both have ground DMZ. Gengar's probably carry the same taunt, Sludge Bomb, Shadow Ball, Protect. So this will be a very interesting in who decides to, or who can make the better decisions with the Pokemon that they both have.
I am like ecstatic to see these Gastrodons, because these Gastrodons have no answers on the opposing team. Just really the Garchomps. The Garchomps are the way to beat the opposing Gastrodons, so we're in for a treat here. We're going to have Tapu Koko and Gengar lead out for one of the players. I don't know who's on what screen. And we're going to have Tapu Koko and Garchomp lead out for Grant. I believe that's
Oh
Grant.
boy! So, all right, well, Dazzling Gleams can happen, especially, and I think James is more tempted to go for that because he has the Garchomp on, because Grant has a Garchomp on the field. We can also see Sludge Bomb go on to Tapu Koko, and I think a Dazzling Gleam plus Sludge Bomb will do a lot of damage to Tapu Koko if not take it out. And we also see a Shadow Ball onto Garchomp, but if you're James here, you really want to get rid of the Tapu fast because that's doing a lot of damage, especially with his electric terrain up.
I think it's most important to note that we do have what's his face? What's his name? Guzma theme playing in the
The
background
Guzma
because both of these players are truly evil for bringing this. But we're going to have a lovely turn 1 here. There's a very big earthquake risk from the Garchomp, and I think that this is a big 50-50, like very big mind gamey turn 1. And we're going to see no protect. So what do we have? We're going to have Garchomp take about half from a Dazzling Gleam, as Coco will go for a Nature's Madness, I believe that was, and that will target down the Tapu Koko. As Gengar goes for a Shadow Ball, it's going to target down that Garchomp. Is that going to do enough to pick up a knockout? And it will.
does.
So no Earthquakes coming out, no Rock Slides, Ground EMZs, whatever it wants to do. None of that coming out. We have a knockout on turn 1 onto that Garchomp.
Yeah, very nice by James. That Gengar getting that clutch kill with the Shadow Ball, and now also there's also a little bit of James on top of Coco. So
There is another Gengar on the field now. So
yep, this is
Gengar with both of their focus sashes intact. This is a pretty neutral situation, with of course the fact that Grant did lose his Garchomp, though, being the big factor between the two of them.
right, and both these Pokemon are Gengars are both running Shadow Ball and Sludge Bomb, so a lot of super effective attacks going to come out this turn.
Yeah, we do have the Shadow Ball, or the Protect rather, from the Gengar coming out, as Dazzling Gleam will connect with the Tapu Koko, as Tapu Koko is going to go for the Volt Switch, going to target down that Gengar, breaking any potential focus sashes that are there. And what will he Volt Switch out into? Maybe a Garchomp, maybe a Gastrodon. We're gonna see the Gastrodon.
Show me the Gastrodon.
Yes, he took out the Garchomp, so we have lovely answers to the Gastrodon now, as Shadow Ball goes into the protect of the opposing Gengar. So the two Gengars likely speed tying. We have a Gastrodon that can't be touched, and we have a lovely time here at our Christmas PC. This is a lovely present for all you guys.
It's a Christmas miracle, everybody. Yeah, Matt's saying sure sarcastically, and Tapu Koko can probably actually go for Nature's Madness, which would help out a lot here, especially with possibly limited ways to deal with like Gastrodon after losing the Garchomp so early, and maybe a Sludge Bomb go on to Tapu Koko, which I don't know if that'll take it out, but the Gengar is being threatened by a Dazzling Gleam and Shadow Ball, and because that's a speed tie, it's really risky.
Yeah, we're going to see the Dazzling Gleam come out, breaking in the potential Focus Sash on the Gengar. Gastrodon also taking a little bit of damage there. Gengar uses Shadow Ball. That will be James is going first and targeting down the opposing Gengar, and going to be able to get the KO right there on that Gengar. So we're going to have it be 2v4 in favor of James, as Ice Beam connects with the Tapu Koko. We do know that is the Assault Vest Tapu Koko, and that will be doing a little bit under, maybe like 10-20%, so it's a little bit chip damage there, and speed tie is going in James's favor there, but also a very strong play from James just early on.
Yeah, and we also see that there's no Gastrodon mirrors today, so that's always fun. And that Arcanine, James loves to see that Arcanine right now, especially with very limited ways to hit that Gastrodon now. I can see it. This game can already be decided into James' favor already, just because that Gastrodon is going to be taking lots and lots of attacks.
The only way that he can really deal with the Gastrodon now is he does have Nature's Madness, and he can throw some Nature's Madness at the Gastrodon, but I don't think that the Arcanine really has any attacks that would be able to finish it off. Even Dazzling Gleam's not going to be doing that much damage to the Gastrodon if he was able to get a few Nature's Madnesses off.
Yeah, and there's just no. Then and you also have to consider that James has switch options. He also has a Pokemon that I don't think Grant's even seen yet. So yeah, it's just looking really good for James right now.
Yeah, we're going to see the Protect come out from the Gengar, likely maybe fearing a Snarl. We're going to see the Arcanine go for the Protect, though. So Tapu Koko is going to be firing off an attack this turn, and it's going to go for the Volt Switch, targeting down the Gengar, as Gastrodon will be going for the Scald, and that will target down the Tapu Koko and do a little bit of damage there. Does he get the burn? No, and Tapu Koko is just under half now, and Gengar, protecting last turn, is likely going to be wanting attacking this turn. Let's see if he goes for the Sludge Bomb into the Tapu Koko, most likely, right?
Yep, I think that will actually get the KO, and Scald, easy Scald on the Arcanine. There's no reason James for not to go for it, and Sludge Bomb with Tapu will take it out from this range. So, oh, but see a switch. I think it's just the Electric Terrain Thunderbolt. It doesn't want to take that or Discharge.
Yeah, we're going to see the Tapu Koko, switching in here, and another double protect attempted on, Grant's side, and we'll do nothing there as Volt Switch goes into the Tapu Koko as Skull targets down the Tapu Koko, and let's see if it's able to burn. No, as the Electric Terrain will disappear from the battlefield. So bring in his own Tapu Koko there so that Electric Terrain cannot go back up unless he switches out his Tapu Koko again. So likely not wanting to have to play with the Electric Terrain on the field.
Yeah, and that's going to weaken Grant even more, and James too, but Grant much more so because there's even less options to take out any of his Pokemon. So Scald's going to be even more free, but Electric Attacks didn't really matter on Gastrodon anyway.
Yeah. Thousand Gleam will go first from Grant's Tapu Koko. That will take out James's. And we're going to see the Scald from the Gastrodon that's going to target down the Tapu Koko. Is that Arcanine go for Roar? It is. That negative priority making it go after Gastrodon, which is... you did reveal the information that you do have Roar, which is probably big information to have, but the trade-off is he had a 50-50 shot at maybe figuring out what James's last Pokemon was, because I don't think we've seen it.
Right, and that was that at the cost of revealing Roar?
If you don't think you're going to bring Arcanine game 2 or 3, I think that's probably fair. Just reveal Roar and just know what potentially is in the back.
Yeah, so Gengar getting this Protect off, it's not going to take a lot of damage. Obviously, well, it's not going to take damage, any damage.
Yeah, Arcanine will also go for Protect here, and I think this is just kind of an information game. I don't think there's any way that James really loses this game at this point. He probably is just going to go for another Scald into the Tapu Koko, as we've seen for the last few turns. And Gastrodon will, in fact, go for that Scald into the Tapu Koko, is going to be able to knock it out through that Assault Vest with a little bit of HP left there. So we're going to have Arcanine against the world. So James can potentially, hide that last Mon if he really, really wants to. You can go for maybe a Shadow Ball and a Scald here. If we're going to see the forfeit there from Grant, though. So James Baek is going to take game 1 here in finals.
And very convincingly, too. Taking out that Garchomp turn 1 was really, really nice. Grant instantly lost all of his, but a lot of what he could do to that Gastrodon. So I could imagine Grant bringing a little bit more for that Gastrodon, maybe his own Gastrodon. And we don't think we saw, but we saw in top 8 that Grant does have Toxic on his Gastrodon. So that's good. That's good information. If James does in fact lose this game for game 3. So I think that this game definitely, the set does favor James because he did get that Shadow Ball off, and he led a lot better than Grant in that.
Well, yeah, in a mirror match, taking a game is absolutely huge. Since then, you guys both know generally what the other person has to do, especially after a game 1, and it does let you adjust better to what you think the opposing player is going to do in the game 2, just because generally since you have a very similar team to them, what their options are, and James was able to remove the Garchomp and just kind of sweep with the Gastrodon after the Garchomp went down, as we see both players selected and moves very, very quickly as we get into this game 2 here, and we're going to wait on our leads. This is the 6-Mon Mirror, and this is a finals match between James Baek and Grant Madden, and we're heading into game 2 here. So let's see what our leads are. We're going to see the Tapu Koko and Gengar again for James, and what do we get from Grant? We have the Arcanine and the Gastrodon, so we do see the Gastrodon this time from Grant here, and let's see how he decides to use it.
Yeah, and we also can see, like we saw, because they're both running the same set from the same team, we can probably assume that James Tapu Koko does have Nature's Madness, so I can imagine James going for maybe a Nature's Madness or Volt Switch this turn onto Arcanine. Nature's Madness being on Gastrodon, and perhaps maybe a switch out from Gengar as well because he doesn't want to take any snarls. And
Yeah, I think the Snarl is a very obvious option from the Arcanine here.
yeah, so I wouldn't imagine James would want to take one, and especially against the Gastrodon, he needs to take it out very soon so he can start soothing with his Gengar and his Tapu Koko, and well, anything can really do damage.
Yeah, from James's side though, what really wants to take a Snarl coming in here? I mean, the only thing I can think of that he would want to bring would be the Garchomp. So we're going to have the Protect come out from the Gengar there as Tapu Koko goes for the Volt Switch onto the Arcanine. That'll probably do around 40% chip damage there. Yep, just around 40% there as Volt Switch will have the Tapu Koko go back, and let's see what Tapu Koko decided to Volt Switch into. Likely something that would want to take a Snarl, I'd assume, and we're actually going to see the Gastrodon, so let's see if he decided to go for a Scald into that Storm Dream switch, and we're going to see Snarl lower the special attack of the Gastrodon. Let's see, will it go right back up? No, we're going to see the Toxic onto the Gastrodon switching in, so that's a huge Toxic from Grant, and if he's able to protect his own Gastrodon, he might be able to just win the game with the bulkiness of his own Gastrodon if he's able to keep Toxic off of it now.
Right, so very nice turn one from Grant. James also got a little bit of chip damage on Arcanine, we can't forget that. But that Toxic was really huge, especially on the other Gastrodon. If James let Tapu Koko in, that would have been a little bit better, but a Toxic Tapu Koko is never fun because you have way less HP and less bulk, so it's going to be surviving even less.
Yeah, we're going to see the Gastrodon actually retreating on James's side, and we're going to see that Garchomp that did do so much damage in the top 4 set against Danny there. And the opposing Garchomp will come in on the Gastrodon, so both Gastrodons switching out for the Garchomp friends, and Shadow Ball will be targeting down the Garchomp on Grant's side, as Shadow Ball will get the special defense drop on the opposing Garchomp, and do a decent amount of damage with the Snarl here from the Arcanine. Breaks the Focus Sash on the Gengar and lowers the special attack, so Snarl actually getting the Curse Body there is maybe a little bit concerning, but I think that it's still a pretty good position for Grant, and I think we might have a speed tie coming up.
Yeah, we do definitely have a speed tie, but and we do also know that Gengar is dropping special attack, so I don't know if a Dragon Claw plus Sludge Bomb would KO Arcanine, and Garchomp also, I think, James's Garchomp might be in range of a Dragon Claw KO from Grant, so this is going to be a very interesting speed tie.
Yeah, we are going to see the Garchomp switch out, though, not wanting to risk the speed tie. And knowing that the Gastrodon that could potentially Toxic it is switched out, the Gastrodon will come back in on Grant's side. Garchomp will go for Protect as Gengar fires off a Shadow Ball, going to target down that Gastrodon. Not going to be doing too much damage after the Snarl, but we see another special defense fall. As Arcanine goes for a Roar, going to target down that Garchomp, and what's going to be coming in? Is it the Gastrodon? It is the opposing Gastrodon, so I think we're right back where we were 2 turns ago.
Yeah, so but the question is, do we see another double switch?
That is a very good point. We have both our Gastrodons on the field here. I know that Grant does not want to get Toxic right now, so a good play for him would be to switch out. James could also just maybe double the Gastrodon slot with something like an Ice Beam and a Shadow Ball to make sure you get the knockout. We are going to see the Gastrodon switch out on James's side. We're going to see the Garchomp come in. The Grant follows suit once again as we see the opposing Gastrodon going for Protect. So let's see what happens with the Gengar. Gengar will go for Taunt, targeting down that Arcanine, and let's see if it went for a Roar. And we're going to see a Flamethrower targeting down the Gengar. Is that going to be enough to pick up a knockout? Maybe. Just going to fall just short and no burns, so Gengar will be hanging on.
Right, and there's no Will-O-Wisp that can happen onto the Garchomp, so Garchomp could possibly go for a Tectonic Rage here, but that does risk the... and Gastrodon did protect that turn, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so James can go for Tectonic Rage here and nuke whatever comes in, but that's going to nuke whatever comes in and not Gastrodon.
Yeah.
And he kind of wants to nuke Gastrodon, so I don't know if he's ready to go for Tectonic Rage yet, but Gengar definitely, I think, might want to switch out here because that actually could be helpful later in the game. Yeah, as he can go for Sludge Bomb or Sludge Bomb.
He's going to switch it out. I wouldn't be surprised if he actually went for something like a Swords Dance here if he does think the Gastrodon is going to be switching out. We're going to see Grant switching out the Arcanine and going to bring in his own Gengar. So I do believe we're seeing the same mons from each player here. As you see the Protect, go for the double Protect on the Gastrodon, and the Swords Dance will be set up. So a very free Swords Dance for Grant there, and or for James there, and they're the same player. They're the same teams. But yeah, James will be setting up the Swords Dance with the Garchomp there. So Tectonic Rage is definitely throwing down that Gastrodon now, and Gengar does still have his Focus Dash intact, so that's definitely throwing down the opposing Garchomp. So still a lot of game left to be played.
Right, and that Gengar does have its Focus Sash available, so it will not go down to an Earthquake, and I believe Gastrodon won't go down to an Earthquake either.
Yeah, we're going to see the Protect come out from the Garchomp as Gengar will go for the Shadow Ball into the Protect there. Let's see if James decides to break the Sash on the Gengar, and he does. He goes for the Ice Beam as Gastrodon will be going for the Toxic into the Garchomp.
Alright, so well, now that that Focus Sash is broken, so Gengar will go down to an Earthquake if James decides to go for it, and Gastrodon, it's still up in the air if that +2 Earthquake will KO. Gastrodon's a very, very bulky Pokemon, but is it bulky enough to take a +2 Earthquake from Garchomp? Tectonic Rage will for sure KO that Gastrodon, but it's going to come down to whether James decide to go for an Earthquake, take the risk of the KO, or go for Tectonic Rage and be safe about it.
Yes, I do believe we know all 4 Mons from Grant here, and those 4 Mons do not include Tapu Koko. So if Gengar goes down here, the rest of Grant's team will be outsped by this Garchomp here, which will have a +1 after the Intimidate. So Arcanine will be switching in here for the Gastrodon, not wanting to take a Tectonic Rage or an Earthquake in this situation. And based off that Protect, I can only assume this is an Earthquake coming out from the Garchomp. Shadow Ball will be targeting down the Garchomp, though, doing a good amount of damage, bringing it just under half. And Earthquake will come out, and that will likely pick up 2 knockouts here on both the Arcanine and the Gengar.
Yeah, so that Garchomp is now at +1, but that's a nice trade. Getting the Gengar and Arcanine off the field is huge. But there still is that Gastrodon left from both players. And with James being toxic, he does have the Gastrodon disadvantage. But James has that +1 Garchomp also sitting in the back.
With Tectonic Rage still active, so he can still go for that Z move and potentially pick up a knockout on the opposing Gastrodon here. James could also just switch out his own Gastrodon to reset any potential, toxic damage that he would want it to not be taking. So we're going to see Grant bringing in his own Garchomp. So could this come down to a Garchomp speed tie?
Quite possibly. What is James's last 2 Pokemon are Tapu Koko and Gengar is at low HP. So yeah, this might come down to the Garchomp speed tie. Yeah. Oh man.
It's very possible that Gastrodon might be able to just like take those Mons in the back though, since the Gengar will probably end up taunting the Gastrodon if the speed tie was to happen. We're going to see Garchomp going for Protect on Grant's side, and we're going to see Garchomp also going for Protect on James's side. Let's see what they decided to do. We're going to see Gastrodon going for Ice Beam into the Protect of Grant's Garchomp, as we see Recover come out from the Garchomp, or for the Gastrodon on there's so many Gastrodons and Garchomps and G's on the field right now. It's really hard to keep track of all of them. But yeah, I think this is going to come down to a Garchomp speed tie here, and we did see that I believe Grant's Garchomp did go first there, so we know that he's at least has a chance to be faster. It might be a speed tie, it probably is a speed tie, but there's also a chance that Grant's just faster.
Right, and actually I think if you're no, you can go for Tectonic Rage onto Gastrodon. I think that will get the KO. And,
did James switch out his +2 Garchomp? Or +1 Garchomp? He did. And Gengar will be coming in here as the Gastrodon on Grant's side will be going for Protect. I believe this is going to be a Tectonic Rage coming out from the Garchomp on Grant's side. Who is that going to be targeting? I wonder if it's the Garchomp that switched out?
Probably the Gastrodon. Actually, no.
I'm not sure. Does he have Dragon Claw? Do you know he has Dragon Claw?
I believe he has Dragon Claw. Yeah, it was on Gengar.
It was on Gengar. I'm not sure if he has Dragon Claw then, since Dragon Claw definitely would have picked up the knockout unless he thought that the chip damage from Rough Skin would have mattered in the...
Yeah.
We will see Ice Beam targeting down the Garchomp, and let's see if that's going to be enough to pick up a knockout. I assume it would be, and it is. So, but now, Garchomp does not have the boost, and Gastrodon is sitting at full health. And, the Gastrodon's about to go down to Toxic next turn.
Yeah, and there's also the fact that James still has that Tectonic Rage available. So it's just like, when does Gastrodon not Protect, and when I can actually go for a Tectonic Rage?
Oh, man, I could see this coming down to whether or not a Tapu Koko could hit a Nature's Madness. Because the play is probably the Nature's Madness, the Gastrodon, and go for Tectonic Rage on the same turn. And if Gastrodon's able to live the Tectonic Rage after the Nature's Madness, that could be absolutely disastrous. Or like if Nature's Madness were to miss and then Tectonic Rage wouldn't KO.
Right.
But we're going to see the Gastrodon going for Ice Beam and Tapu Koko going for Nature's Madness. So I think it is going to come down to just that, whether or not the Tapu Koko can hit Tenacious Madness. Obviously, he has a Protect to burn on Garchomp, so he likely has 2 shots because there's no reason for him not to, just fire off a Protect here from Garchomp and then try Tenacious Madness. There's nothing that the Gastrodon can do to knock out the Tapu Koko this turn. So Protect Tenacious Madness is a very safe play and a very free play. And I think double Protect and then Tenacious Madness miss is probably what we're going to go for here if you're Grant. I think that's his best play. Yeah, Garchomp's going to go for the Protect here. And we're going to see the Tenacious Madness from the Tapu Koko, and it will connect unless maybe we see a recover here from the Gastrodon. That is the same thing as maybe like a double Protect. And we will see the Citrus Berry activate. So Citrus Berry will bring him back up to about 75% health as Gastrodon does use recover. So it's really going to come down to Tenacious Madness, whether or not it can connect with the Gastrodon, that 95% accurate move. We've seen it miss so many times.
This is crazy. There's also the fact that
Tenacious Madness, it does connect with the Gastrodon, so Gastrodon will go down to about half health here, and Garchomp will be able to... Garchomp goes for the Swords Dance, though. Is Gastrodon going to be able to go for an Ice Beam and take a knockout? Scald is the move. Oh, that's not going to be enough to get out. Does it get the burn?
No burn!
No burn!
Oh, man.
Oh,
what was that?
I am so confused. That was amazing and beautiful. Oh, my God.
Okay, well, +2 Garchomp, Tectonic Rage. Probably going to take this Gastrodon
Dragon Claw will get it do too, unless we somehow miss the Tectonic Rage somewhere in this set. But otherwise, the Dazzling Gleam plus the Dragon Claw will be enough to pick up the knockout on the Gastrodon. And we will see that Tectonic Rage one last time for the knockout on the Gastrodon here, as James Baek will be the one taking our finals here in Somerville, New Jersey at the Liberty Garden Premier Challenge here at Toget. So congratulations to James. We're going to see this Tectonic Rage finally finish off the Gastrodon. And we are finally escaped the mirrors. We finally escaped it all. We made it through the day. And no Celestial mirrors.
Oh, man. Well, James is going to take this set 2-0 over Grant. And that was... Oh, my God. What was that?
Oh, man. So that was an absolutely